Well, good morning and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am glad you guys are all here. And thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Maddie, how are you? And we're going to be talking about your being well, getting well, and your well-being, staying well. We're so happy to have you. I'm thankful for our new event that's coming up. It will be next Tuesday, and we're inviting everyone, and it's going to be live on our Facebook page. In case you guys don't know, please start joining our Facebook page at vibe-talk. You'll see our logo there. Today we're going to talk about our 5 senses. What are they? Anybody have any idea? Taste, sight, smell, taste, sight, smell, and feel. We're going to be talking about that. Thank you so much, Maddie. And as you guys know, you may go ahead and interact. For those of you who are listening on our streamed podcast, we do now have our telephone lines where you can leave us a voicemail or any comments or questions that you may have. Check out our YouTube pages as well. So now, the first question of the day is, how are you contributing to your wellness? What things have you done to contribute to your being okay? To your being well? Because we have to think about that, What things am I doing? I'll tell you first, I am not taking on any renewed stress. I got to think about that one because life can stress us out. And we know that we're going to have stress, right? Everybody has stress. You'll all agree with me. But now, the stress that you may be feeling, what would you like to do about it? And how does our senses play a part in our stress? We're going to be right back to get into this conversation. Stay with us here at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast can be found, and we're so glad for that. They're always recorded for your listening. Maybe you can't be here in the live, but what we will try to do for you is make sure that you get them. Even on our Instagram, we're now posting it. So, our senses, how do they play a part in our wellness? How do they play a part? I want you to do something. We're going to be doing some interaction today. And one of the interactions that I want you to do is, of course, breathe, because that lets me know that you are alive. As you breathe in the air, as you're breathing in your air. How does it feel? Because when we think about breathing is connected to our lungs. It pumps our blood to our heart. And it helps us to get focused. Now think about your breathing. So many people today don't have it that easy. What do I mean by that? You know, you've seen people with breathing machines. You've seen people on life support. But here's where our wellness comes in. Knowing the fact that we can breathe on our own. Do we appreciate that? Now, when we breathe in all sorts of environmental things. Right now, I am breathing in a candle. It smells really good. And I'm breathing in that candle because that's in the environment. Now, I'm going to ask you for 5 things right now that your senses are aware of right now at this moment. Because this is going to be an awareness test for all of us, whether you're driving. We know that some of you are living in various countries and states. And right now, I want you to pay attention to 5 things around you that you're smelling. 5 things. Or 5 things that you like the smell of. I like the smell of my candles. They're warm. They oftentimes are a gentle scent of vanilla or something to do with pie or fruit scents. A lot of perfumey things make me very ill. I don't know about you guys. Another thing that I love the smell of is flowers. With so many flowers around, you guys realize that each of them attracts in different ways? How many of you are aware of that? The sense of flowers. I love flowers. Can you smell the roses? You know, smelling the roses has become a quote. And that means when we are taking time to smell the roses, we are taking time to appreciate those things. We say good morning to everyone. And please tell us where you're from. And thank you. I also love the smell of the beach. Can you imagine being on the beach? If you like that sort of thing, being able to smell the beach, if you have such appreciation for it. Oh, and how about a newborn baby? The smell of that. Wow. I love those smells. How about you? What are some of the things, 5 things, and I want everyone to do this, and if I've missed a couple, remind me that I've missed a couple because I'm supposed to do 5 as I'm telling you to do 5. Think about that and how that contributes to your wellness. How many of us have ever smelled yucky smells? Name something yucky that you have smelled. And it just upsets your whole day. See, your body and mind become aware of the sense of smell. Isn't it interesting that you're able to smell? It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? But now when we think about the sense of smell, how does it not help the environment? Have you ever been around the most stinkiest trash? You know, it's trash day and people are taking their trash out, and you walk by that trash can and it smells putrefied. Well, what does that represent? There is something toxic in that trash can. Something toxic there. Something that we don't want to smell or breathe in or take in your life. What is the toxic thing that you keep breathing in? And if we were to pass the paper to write it down, we no doubt would have different things. That is our sense of smell. See, we're able to take in that sense, or we are aware of it. So what is it that you are smelling in your life that is even a good fragrance or a good smell? What are the toxic things that you keep taking in because it's in the environment? We say, oh, we don't want to smell that again. And how does it affect your wellness? Going back to the candles that I talked about and the flowers, the candles have a calming effect on me. Every time I'm able to light a candle, a scented one, it calms my stress down. I'm noticing that my son, my younger son, is now doing that. So I know that it works on our nervous system to calm down the environment. Some time ago I asked of you guys to try that. Go and get yourself a candle. You can even make candles. Go and get yourself something that smells really good to you and put it in your room. Don't burn the house down, though. But be careful and use safety. Or anywhere you're at, please don't start fires or be, be watchful and use safety. But I like to burn candles. And I love certain time of the year when you can smell things. Spring. You ever felt like spring was in the air? Spring. I want to talk to you about our five senses to help you understand how your wellness plays into this. The next thing we're going to talk about is sight. Right now we are running a contest that is your beautiful thing. What beautiful photo do you have? And it is a contest. And send those to me directly to our Facebook or Instagram is where you can send that. And we will put them up and we will pick winners. My co-host and I will choose. We're going to choose more than one winner. So we're going to be fair. So send us your beautiful things. What are you seeing? Let's talk about that. And how does it play into your wellness or your being unwell? Because you have to be the one who decides that. Now, beautiful things. I love the fact that I can see hummingbirds. And I had the privilege to be able to see a hummingbird really close up. That's a beautiful thing to me. Some of you are living in areas where there are beautiful trees. And when I think of beautiful trees, I think of springtime and I think of fall, because fall is where you're not dying off, but you are changing. You're evolving into what is going to be spring soon thereafter. When the trees are bare, you see the structure, the nakedness of the tree. How many of us take that for granted? Anybody here take it for granted that you're outside and you see a tree and you say, okay, there's a tree? But really, do you look at the dynamics of a tree? Do you look at the structure of a tree? Because your eye is seeing that. And when you see a tree, do you know that that tree could be older than you or I? It is amazing, because that tree started from what is a seed, or many seeds. We want to thank you for joining us. Where are you listening in from? Please and thank you. What state? Thank you for that. We are on many platforms. Right now, I am live on our Facebook page at Vibe-Talk. And if you haven't heard of us, and if this is your first time, we invite you, please, to join in the conversation, because we're talking about Wednesday wellness and our 5 senses. So when you look at your tree, that tree has been rooted, and the foundation started from a seed. Where have you grown from? Or do you notice that you're likened to that tree because you can grow and you can blossom into beautiful foliage? That is, if you're nurtured. That is, if you're taking in the good vibes. Now, there are things that are negative, like we talked about earlier, toxic things. But does your mind, your body, and your spirit give way to those things of which are toxic? Or are you made aware of what is toxic in your life? Because I'm just a life coach. It is not up to me to tell you what is toxic. These podcasts are to help you to think about your life. You know, because some trees look like they're dying off. How many of you have ever seen a tree that looks like it's dying? If you've ever seen that, please put up your electronic hands if you're at a computer or laptop or any kind of device. How many of you have saw a tree that looks like it's fallen over because it's been uprooted? How many of you have seen burnt down trees? Why am I asking that question? Why is Miss Nisi asking that? Because when you think about your life, are you the strong tree that represents the beautiful leaves, the foliage that's from that tree because you're around wellness, well people, you yourself are well, you take in good vibes? Or are you that tree that looks like it's uprooted? It's fallen over. It's about to die. How do I mean that? That you take in unnecessary stresses in your life. If I were to pass the paper again and ask you right now, what unnecessary stress do you have right now? You would all no doubt tell me something different. Well, when we see a dead tree, we have what are called arborists. Those are people who specialize in tree trimming or getting rid of that unnecessary tree. Now, I love trees, but are you a strong tree? Nothing can break your cycle of life, that is. Are you barren? That you cease to grow, but yet you're a tree. You don't grow, you don't change, you're just there. I know some trees like that. Or are you the tree that every time spring arises, you say, there goes that beautiful tree? Because you see, spring is a time where we decide everything in life, Jehovah God has created for us, life. Spring is a reminder of life, and we see it in our sight. How are you doing with your life? Where have you grown? I'm going to tell you something. How I have grown is that I don't get as angry. See, even I had to work on anger. And if you had to work on anger, I had to do that. Good morning, and please tell us where you're from. Thank you for joining our interactive podcast, Facing the Lion. Vibe Talk. We are live recording, and thank you for being here. We're talking about our 5 senses in our Wellness Wednesday. Illinois. And they say Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Thank you. And the only person that is responsible for making you feel good is you and yourself. That's accountability and responsibility. And thank you so much, all the way from Illinois. We appreciate. Oh, you said it was from a movie. Okay. That's okay. We love humor too. Thank you for that. We'd love for you to join us in this conversation. Let's talk about our sight. You know, things we take in. What are some things that we've said no to already this year? And what are some things that we're saying more yes to? Are they making you well? Or do they make you sick? The sight that you are now seeing. These are really important, ladies and gentlemen, because your wellness is all about who you are, and what you will become. And on Wednesday, oh, I like that. That's a good one. Our audience member from Illinois says, no social media, more life. I love that. More life. How does hiking make you feel versus being on social media? Because that is a big thing, and, you know, we have a lot of people who are more or less trying to do less of. So how does that make you feel better, and what are some things that you see? Keep those comments coming. We appreciate those of you who are with us. Thank you so much. Social media, they say, really kind of overwhelms you with the whole world? Yes. And their problems, right? Hiking. I'm free. And here in the present moment. Bullseye. Because that's what I talked about. Focusing. Being able to see with your mind's eye how it helps you in your wellness or not. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Because when we are able to see, feel, and smell, we are affected by those things. You notice in being free and hiking, and if you have never done a nature walk, I encourage you to do so. And for those of you who don't like to hike in the mountain, you can still do a nature walk. You can do a nature walk in your local park. You can do a nature walk in your neighborhood. And you can do a nature walk in your local beaches. How about that? Thank you for that. We appreciate all of you who have joined us here today. We're going to be right back as we continue to talk about being well, getting well, and staying well here with Vibe Talk. We'll be right back. Saturdays, we are on live. We've welcomed our latest project, Vibe Talk After Dark, with your host, me. And we'll play songs, music dedication, and have the conversations you want to have. What song can I play for you Saturday night? Vibe Talk After Dark.
Facing the lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this week? It was challenging.
Catch us Fridays on What Challenges Have You Faced During the Week. Check those out on our YouTube pages. Finally Friday, Facing the Lion. We're back, and we're discussing our 5 senses. So far, we've talked about what we smell, and now what we see, and how it makes us feel. Vibe Talk is all about having great conversations, and these are conversations that make a healthier you and a healthier me. And I want to thank our Illinois audience member for contrasting what a lot of social media does, in his case, feels overwhelming, and versus the nature walk, feeling free. Now, as you have contrasted your life, what do you want more of in your growth, like a tree? In your mental and emotional growth, what do you want more of? See, our audience member gave us an example of contrasting what less social media looks like and more of nature hikes look like. In your life, how are you feeling? Because we're not saying don't do social media. I have social media. And social media is a great way to get your business known. And I thank social media for allowing me to bring my new radio show and Vibe Talk. So many people become aware. But when it's the negative, you feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. So the power of feeling is a strong power when we can feel our emotions. How many times have we checked in with ourselves? See, we're checking into other people, but I ask you the question, how many times have we checked in to ourselves? We need to do that from time to time. We need to find out, how do we get well? If you've ever been with us on Wednesday Wellness, we do what is called expression through art. And the reason we do that is because a lot of people are very good to draw out how they're feeling, especially with children. I notice very young children, Crayola helps those children to become aware, not only of using different colors, but being able to draw things. And so our adult version of that, of the inner child in you, is able to identify how you feel. So if you've never come to Wednesday Wellness, that's what we're all about on Wellness Wednesday. Think about the things that we hear. Listen. I ask you today, what are you hearing? I can hear chimes right now. I can hear the wind right now because it's very windy where I am. And oftentimes we hear a train that goes by. But you know the sound that I love to hear the most? The sound of the birds chirping. The sound of children laughing. There is nothing more powerful to me than a child's laughter. How many of you want to feel free just like that child? How many of you in your childhood didn't get to feel free as that child, and now your inner child reaches out to you to be set free? Have you answered the call? Because you see, that call is going to keep coming up. Every time I hear a child laugh, that's one more reason to be thankful that children are so carefree. No worries. But today, in the world that we live in, we fear for our children. Those of us who are parents, well-meaning parents. We fear for their safety. Back in the day, I was able to go outside and play all day, and I was always told, be back in the house before the lights. That is, the night lights, street lights come on. Today, that time is gone. But I'm going to tell you something. The sense of knowing that is so powerful too. So what are you feeding your inner child? How are you looking at your children that you are raising up? Do you want wellness for them? Because you see, there are some children that aren't laughing. There's nothing is funny about how they're being brought up, what they've had to go through, the traumas and the tragedies. But now you, with perfect hearing, what are you hearing? Beautiful music. I'm going to tell you the sound of beautiful music. I love to hear the saxophone, but I also love smooth jazz. I love the sound of music. Music has an interesting effect on our senses. We can feel the lyrics. We can see the lyrics. See, our senses play a large part in our wellness. We can choose not to hear or to hear. How about communication in our sense of hearing? What are we hearing these days? Because you see, everything you hear, you take in. How many of you have experienced sleep? And as you sleep, you hear noise all around you. How do you react to it? Some of us say, oh, I wish they would stop that noise. If I'm in a deep sleep, there's nothing worse than outside noise that is so loud and distracting my sleep. Even in my sleep, I'm saying, when my kids or my grandson may be making noise, please stop that. Because I don't like the loud noise. But what are you hearing? You know, some of us like to listen to drama and chaos in our life. Some of us even say, we don't like the drama. We don't like the chaos. But yet, we find that we are drawn to the sayings of drama and chaos. We say we don't like it, but our brain is saying, yes, I will accept it. Let's think about what we're hearing, what we need to hear more of and less of. Because it's your choice. You want to be well? You want to get well? I implore you to get well soon. We have a sight to taste. And in our brain and in our minds, we have the right to choose what we don't like versus what we do like. How many times have you had something of an aftertaste? You know, I get that a lot with water. An aftertaste. Water is one of the important things to help us to thrive. As much as I hate water, I've learned to adapt with water, and I will drink flavored water. Some of us like the flavors of water, because some waters are boring. But water is life-sustaining. Without water, we couldn't live very long. We'd be just like the flowers. You ever saw a wilted flower? Some of those flowers aren't getting enough watering, while others are being overwatered. Do you all feel like that sometimes? You're overwatered with life's anxiety, or you're underwatered, not enough of. And we're talking about not enough of what? If I were to pass the paper, what are you not getting enough of that would help you toward wellness? See, because water is vital. And I'm going to stand here and tell you right now, I don't get enough of water. And only I can change that. People could tell me you don't drink enough water, but until I recognize it, there can be no changes made. Are you getting enough of something that you need that is vital to your well-being? Let's have a sit-down conversation, adult conversation. You're being watered. What are you being watered with? And when we taste that, do we have an aftertaste that we didn't like? You know, some people can water you with their words. And they can do what is called overkill in their words. Or they can be over the top in their words. Or not enough. How does it taste? Because some communication leaves a bad taste in our mouths. You know, the taste, the sense of taste is awesome. Because those little things that you see on your tongue, all of those little bumps, little tiny things, if you stick out your tongue as you brush your teeth, you taste because of those little vessels in your tongue. Expressions, what we're saying, what comes off of our tongue. Has it made someone well? The last time you had a conversation with someone, did it leave a aftertaste in your mind, in your speech, in your soul? Have we spoken wellness into someone? You know, a lot of times we might have situations where there may be someone who is on their sick bed. We're consciously aware of that. So what would we not want to do? What would you not want to do if someone was on their sick bed? Well, for me, I wouldn't want to tell them any bad news. I wouldn't want to tell them there's no hope. As I look at, and I'm telling you from real experience, as I look at friends that have been on their sick bed, I want to be well for them. Because I'm going to tell you something. Even though people have been on their sick bed, they have encouraged me. And even though they're long gone and they've passed away, I still live by the things that they have taught me. In the last couple of days, I was thinking of one such individual. Because they spoke wellness into me, even though the whole time they were sick. It always left a good taste with me. It made me feel good. It made me want to be around them. They never complained that they were sick. And I never told them, you're sick and you can't tell me that. I looked for their encouragement. Are we like that? Putting a good taste in our life. We say we like the finest. We like the finest foods. We drive the finest cars. But are we doing good tasting finest things to play into our wellness? Yeah. Taste. Sight. Hearing. Feeling. How about touch? When is the last time that we've come together and been able to really feel what someone says? We're going to be right back, because this is something to really think about, and I hope you all really think about this. We'll be right back with how we can touch others. We'll be right back. Our podcast is streaming everywhere. Check us out. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're back, and we're so glad that you could join us here at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Touch. How many of you have been touched by a word, by someone's thought, by someone's actions? How many of you have been touched? The power of touch is oh so powerful. In our lifetime, we have been touched in so many ways. You see, touching allows us the ability to feel something. If I were to ask you to rub your arm, your hand up and down your arm, you feel sensation. If someone were to hit you by accident, you feel sensation. Marvelous ability to be touched. That means that you are affected by something good, challenging, well, or not. You have the ability of touching. That's a heightened sense. You know, when you're touched by something, you react and you respond to it. Good morning and welcome to our program. We're talking about Wednesday wellness and learning our five senses and how they play. Good morning. Where are you listening in from as we're live on Facebook? And streaming everywhere. It's Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. And we welcome you. Please join in the conversation. So we're on the senses of touching. Oklahoma in the house. Thank you. So we're able to touch with raw emotions. Have you ever been touched by someone's words or a movie that it made you cry? Or laugh, or get really mad? See, touching is a powerful emotion. How are we doing in this effect of touching? Have we touched someone to the very depth of their soul? When we're speaking wellness into them, or when we're giving them advice? When was the last time that happened to you, that someone really touched your heart? And let's talk about those experiences. When something really touches your heart. You know what touches my heart? When I hear a young person that is wiser in his years by what he's saying or what they're saying. Young people, young minds, that always touches my heart. Because you say, I swear that person has lived before. How many people have we done that to? Or felt that way about? See, that's the effect of touch. Thank you so much. I love it. Thank you. And if you really want to get with us, go to our Facebook page, like our page. We even have a YouTube page, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. Let us know how you feel. If it's your first time being here, hit that button so that every time we come on, you can hear podcasts that will empower you and help you and your well-being. The power of touch. We have, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We have talked about the 5 senses. And by the way, if you've missed any of this program, don't worry, because it's being recorded. You may always ask questions. You may always call directly into our podcast and leave a message, if you care to. And check out our Instagram pages. I want you to be aware of something. And that's something we've talked about today. What do I want you to be aware of? Your 5 senses. What are they? Taste, smell, sight, hearing, and touching. They really do affect us. But I'm asking you, how are your 5 senses? Are you able to decide for yourself how you will grow? Are you able to decide for yourself what you want more of in life and less of out of life? Are you able to make cognitive, well-balanced, well-thought-out emotions? Because you see, in order for us to face challenges, we must accept the challenge. Our Wellness Wednesday is filled with getting well, thinking about how to be well. Because guess what? You're not going to be well until you want to be well. Let's stop with the phrase, get well soon. Because some of us are not getting well soon enough. You know what we should do? Just say, get well. We're asking you this day, how are you feeling? And what have you done on your wellness journey? These podcasts are designed to help you to think about it. There's no one way of doing something. And if you're on your wellness journey, we applaud you. Vibe Talk Facing the Lion is all about you. Don't forget, on Saturday evening, we have related to us in our family, affiliated with us, Vibe Talk After Dark. It's me doing a full brand new radio show with the same content, but more of music, song dedication, and I always am ready to play whatever you'd like to hear. You can even put in your dedication request right now. Just want to throw that out there. Wednesday Wellness, if it's your first time, may it not be your last time. It's all about our 5 senses. I ask you the question during this podcast, what 5 things are you smelling, or can you smell, or are your favorite smells, however you want to put it? What 5 things are you hearing in or around your life? What 5 things have been touching to you, or you've been touched by? And I thank you so much. You're going to be able to also get a never-ending podcast from Vibe Talk. We're here each week. We're bringing you brand new conversations. And as you get on, we're not the only platform that you can be on. You have any questions, you have any comments, Vibe Talk Direct Connect is a business and not a personal line. 661-503-8993. There you can comment. There you can raise a question. We want to hear from you. And as you are with us, we hope that it's not your last time. Our Vibe Talk question at the end of our podcast is always this one. What did you learn from today's podcast? And how did it make you feel? I learned very much that going over the material and research before I bring it to you, that our 5 senses play a vital part in our mental and emotional health. It's something that we never want to take for granted. And it creates in us awareness of our surroundings. You know, I always say these famous last words to my children, who are adult children now, when they're out: be aware of your surroundings. How many things today, as you've been awake, maybe some of you are just getting awake, how many things around your surroundings, your environment, were you aware of? See, we see birds, we see skies, we see mountains, we see negative things, we see things that are very toxic. What would we rather take in? The toxic or the positive? Because there's always toxic. But in with that toxic, you can take less of that. Remember how I brought out about the trash can and how you smell stinky, foul garbage? Some of our lives could be just like that. What are we going to do to get rid of the foul and the stinky and the not-so-smell goods? See, we have the power to empower our own selves. Let's start with us individually. You and I, just because I am a professional life coach, wellness coach, we walk on the same level. Some of my experiences have been relatable to many of you guys. And some of your stories have been relatable to me. We feel the same emotions. We see the same sights. We hear the same things. And we feel the same way. You know what it represents? That we are human. If you've heard me today, please put up a heart. If you are listening to this podcast right now, just put a heart up. One heart. And why do we ask you to do that? Because every person that you see today has a human heart. And every person that you come in contact with today. Feels, smells, sees, hears. Let's never take that for granted. I want to thank all of you for being here. Our live audience, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion, is going to be putting on a Tuesday show that will be next Tuesday. We invite all of you to be there. It will be on our Facebook Live. We are asking that you be there because you're going to learn a lot about change, transformation, and we hope that you will join us. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking out the time to spend with me. Join our YouTube page. Get to know what we're all about. And also, Saturday nights is all about you. What you want to talk about. What you want to dedicate. What song you want to play. I want to thank those of you who did exactly that. You made song dedications. Sometimes Saturday evening, I had an event going on Saturday evening, so I wasn't able to be there live. If you hashtag Vibe Talk After Dark, you're going to be able to find what that show is all about, and it is affiliated with us, so please be aware of that. Also, if we are not there live on Saturday, which we are most of the time, because you can see all of our Vibe Talk After Dark, you can even start hashtagging it, and it's all about music and dedication, and we don't have a time for it because it's going to be after dark, but for those who are catching on to the program, thank you so much. Our family is growing like the trees that we talked about. We recognize the need to change, transform. I thank you for being with me on this Wednesday Wellness. Until next time, I wish you wellness each and every day. Thank you. This is Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast.